All right, how my experts doing? James Lee Love here, right? Another episode, Brands Experts. All right, now making some adjustments, right? Like for what we're doing, right? Because and there's some good reason for that, and I'm gonna get into it because let's get right into where I've been, gone without explanation for over a month. A lot of different things going on with the brand, what we're doing as a company, and everything. Just for good reason because, and I'll get right into that just because Um, let me put it to you like this: you do not want to get lost, right? That could be the subject for the video or whatnot, but you do not want to get lost, okay, in what you're doing, because as time goes on, timelines, if you want to get something done in a year, 2 years, whatever the case, the time will come regardless. So if the things do not happen within that time period, you have a decision to make. You can either accept that it didn't happen or see where you're at, right? So let's say the goal was to get to 10,000 or 20,000 or whatever take a trip somewhere, whatever the goal, and it didn't happen and it could have happened. You do not need to lie to yourself on why it didn't happen. You need to figure out how to make it happen or like look at everything objectively to say, like, to not provide an excuse for yourself. That's a crucial mistake because if you provide an excuse for yourself, then what's going to happen? You're going to keep going to excuse. You're going to go into excuse. It's just going to be multiple reasons why it doesn't happen instead of really challenging yourself to make it happen, right? You got to make it happen, right? So now that I put all that out there, to let everybody know, went from doing the marketing, love marketing, respect anybody that's doing that, but I'm more suited for investing. So doing the investing training and investing coaching. So that's what we're doing over here at Brands Experts Investing. That's what we're doing over here. Just so you know, going forward, we're gonna be, interviewing investment experts. We're going to be, talking about that, going places as far as that goes. That's what's going on, and we're just gonna keep getting better as time goes on. But it was important, super important for me to stop what I was doing to be able to even understand what I'm doing now or even get to this point. So, very important to do that. Um, and an important message I want to tell anybody: do not get stuck and get caught in a game that no one cares about, that views and likes and what's going on here or there. At the end of the day, that's not going to matter. What's going to matter is you accomplishing your goal, right? That's what's going to matter, and everything else doesn't matter. You accomplishing your goal, figuring out how to do that, and as long as you're on that, figuring out how to do that, and making sure that that happens, everything's going to be exactly how it should be. You're going to love the way things go for you yourself. But if you're not doing that, that's when the confusion happens. That's when things don't go the right way, and you know just gets completely lost. Okay, so let's get to it, right? And so what it is why stopping for 30 days minimum will increase your success. Now, why do I say 30 days minimum, right? Because that's probably closer to 60 days. That gives you enough weeks, right? Enough days in the process to actually look at what you're doing. You got to stop. And not stopping to the mindset like you're quitting, but stopping to really, make the decision on, is this what you want to do? Do you want to keep posting every day? Do you want to keep whatever it is? Do you actually genuinely love what you're doing regardless to if you make a dollar or not? Do you have to make a dollar to enjoy it, right? See, just because you're not making money and you won't do it doesn't mean that there's a issue there. It just means that, you know like, that's what you have to do to be able to enjoy it. And so you have to go through all this process. I was able to do that, and that's really great. And anybody's going to be able to do that you know wants to be successful in whatever it is that you do. So the first thing that's going to happen when you stop for a 30-day minimum is gain a clear vision of success. This is so important. What I mean by this is know exactly what it looks like. It could look different for you. It could look different for somebody else. It could look different than what you thought it would, but that's okay, because having a vision that's not clear and not having like those qualifications that make it clear, and that's something else that you need qualifications that make your vision clear. You don't just want to say it's a clear vision and then you're leaving out holes and you're leaving out timelines. You're leaving out like what makes it important to you. You're leaving out all these kind of things. You want a clear vision so you're able to do it regardless to if you're tired, regardless if you want to do it or not, regardless to whatever the situation, you're gonna do what you need to do. That's super important. So that's something that, that 30 days of, you know, decompressing and just kind of breath of fresh air is super important to your success, really. Like, with me personally, that's something that needs to be done. Just so many different things was done. Interviews with people from different countries and so many different people, which, I'm pretty sure they're great people, but were the people that, you know, I should have been interviewing in certain ways, yes, in certain ways, no. So you got to really ask yourself what you're doing and does it really make sense, right? So getting clarity with what you're doing, very important. Don't ever discount that. Don't ever think that's not important. Getting clarity is super important to like have a clear head to make decisions and do things that you need to do because you only have a limited amount of time anyway. And there's no need to waste that time doing a whole bunch of random stuff and not even knowing what you really want to do and what you're really passionate about. So getting that time to get that clarity is super important, right? I'll get more into this stuff in the future, but yeah, just super important. Like, don't discount it. Don't think that clarity isn't super important. Like, clarity is really important, and get to that. Like, don't think that's not important at all. So the next one is something that I think is really, really, I know it's really important because this is the one thing that people are messing up nowadays. And I'm going to get into it so you really understand it, and that's improve your skill level. This is something that I believe, and I really believe it, and I want you to understand what I'm talking about. You can't do something that you don't know how to do, right? So you're operating from where you are right now, and that's great. Now, some people have this mindset: keep going, improving will happen. Yes, that's true for push-ups. Yes, that's true for eating healthy. There's certain things that are true for, and but most things is not true for. You're actually gonna have to learn how to do something more to be able to do that, right? Like, if you went into a new job that does something that you don't do right now, like, you're gonna have to gain skills on another level, right? Period. You're going to have to get better, and during this time, you can actually objectively look at your skills, and because you're not, there's no guide. I mean, there's no deadlines, none of that. It's just you looking at it and say, "Am I at the level that can command the price I'm asking for? Am I at the level where, um, I can accept what I'm doing? Am I at the level that this makes sense?" If you're not at that level, and that's okay, but if you're not there, then you can start to ask yourself, okay, where's the improvement look like? Does that look like books? Does that look like classes? Does that look like I need to travel somewhere and meet with somebody? Does that look like watching more videos? Does that look like me creating a program to, really make sure that I'm at the level I should be? Does that look like me leveling up my equipment? Does that look like, you know, getting into an area where I have enough income to make these things happen? Improvement is it's everything. It's everything to get into where you need to go. It's so important because, like, that's the biggest difference on if you look at like sports. Like, I love sports, always love sports. If you look at sports, you have players that get into professional sports, and like every like in basketball and NBA, National Basketball Association, there's a draft every year where 60 players, 2 rounds of 30 get selected to different teams, right? And they were really good at where they're at, or they wouldn't have been selected. But if you go forward 3 to 5 years, only 10 to 30% of those players from each draft are still playing in that professional sport. And the reason why is they didn't get better. Like, there's the college level and there's the NBA level, right? And so what ends up happening, they're not getting better, and they're around everybody around them that's getting better. So what will happen is, since there's only 30 teams and there's only 15 spots on each team, right? There's certain the players that are getting better, they're always going to have a spot, so those spots are taken up. Then you have the draft every year, the new players that are going to be, that could be possibly be better than you. And then you have the players that are getting better. So if you're decreasing, you're not going to get your next contract. You might, they might get rid of you early, whatever the case. So that's just one example that shows you. But yes, you have to be getting better, and that's a chance to really show yourself. Because if you're not getting the results you want to get, there could be opinions, there could be all these thoughts, there could be all this other stuff. But the reality is in the results. And if you're not getting better, then you're not getting better. It is what it is, and you might have to, get qualifications that you get better gas. You might have to get better funding, whatever it is. That's going to determine that you're better in that area. You're going to have to make those decisions, sometimes tough decisions, and make those decisions, and then move forward as a better position and a better person and a better organization, better brand, just better across the board. Because when you're not better, it's going to show. You're not going to like it. Everything's going to decrease. And yeah, that's just not what you want. Okay. And we have one more that we're going to get to, and that is objectively qualified mentors, partners, and clients. Okay. So what you're doing here is you're actually like going to figure out what's working or not, right? For mentors, these are people you're listening to on YouTube. These are people that you might, go talk to with maybe your local chamber of commerce, maybe at events, maybe family. But if you're objectively qualifying, let's say it's your mom and she's, doing your brand or business advice or something like that, you could say, "Mom, my business isn't working. What you've been telling me isn't working. So if I'm going to keep you around as a consultant and as an advisor, like, tell me why it's not working." And if she can't really give you the real answer and you've been doing it for a year or two, then you might have to adjust mentors right now because that might not be her area of expertise. And that's okay. That's still your mom. Like for being your mom, she's still an expert at that, right? Like she's still could be an expert at being your mom. But for the business advice, it could be your mom, it could be an uncle, it could be a family friend, it could be somebody you grew up with. No matter what it is, you have to objectively qualify. What I mean by objectively is look at it from the perspective of like you don't think it's working. Okay. Even if you want it to work, even if you believe in them and you love them, whatever, you just gotta say, this isn't working for these reasons and present that information to them. Or if you don't know them, present that information to yourself and make a decision if you need to put them on the back burner, like come back to them later. Like, when when you feel it's a better time, they've made certain improvements, right? Or if you're not going to do that, then you could, what is the word for it? You could just move on from them, right? And I'm speaking, and when I'm speaking from things that I've done. Like that's something I'm gonna make a point to do going forward, or explain what perspective I'm coming from. But I really want to just speak from the perspective of things that I've done, the level that I'm at currently, because I think what happens with a lot of people and brands, they get to speaking on and coming from areas that they're not good at, they're not doing yet, and it's difficult because if you're not good at that area, it's like you know you might make a big mistake because you're not good. That's not your area of expertise. Like it is what it is. Okay, so just let you know that I'm speaking from that place. That's the place that I'm coming from. Okay, something that I've done, some a level that I'm at. Like I'm not gonna tell you, hey, you get to 100,000 if you do this. I need to have the stats. I need to have the proof. I need to have the data to back up my words. To back up my words, present the facts to you. Present the stats. Present 25 moves ago where I'm at currently, and 25 moves from now my projections. Have the whole thing laid out. Because if not, and I'm providing false information, I'm doing a disservice to you. I'm doing a disservice to myself. I'm doing a disservice to my brand. I'm doing a disservice to my future. Like I want you to objectively vet me, right? Like so, yes. Like I'm not just trying to pick on my mentors, pick on the people that I have listened to. I'm doing it the same to myself. I want you to do the same with me. Objectively qualify me to be your, invested teacher, investing coach. That's going to show you what to do. Is going to show you good, ways to set yourself up for success with investing. To properly structure what you're doing. To know how to evaluate a good investment. To know how to do all this, right? To objectively be able to do this, right? So the same with me, right? If you're looking at me as a mentor, my brand, or what I'm doing as a mentor, I want you to be able to do the same thing. I don't want it to be a situation where You're like, well, James Lee Love is doing this, and so I want to do, like, no, I want to do like, I want to make sure that I'm talking about something that I'm doing. I don't want to say, hey, because if you're playing at a different level, right? Everything's about relativity. I'll get to that because that's super important in the future, right? But everything's on what is relative to. So if you're at an $1 million level and I'm at $100 level, for example, that's just for example, because it's good round numbers. Me losing 5% on 100 is $5, right? At this point, I'm not gonna like sweat and cry over that. But a million, right? Losing 5%, I believe. What is that? Is that 50,000? I gotta look at it. But the whole thing is, you gotta look at it, right? If that's a bigger difference from you. So I'm gonna speak from my personal perspective, because if you're not at my stage yet, then I'm more comfortable saying, hey, okay, like this is where I'm at. So just to let you know, I don't want to speak from perspective where I'm not out at yet, because I think that's just not right to do to people, because you're telling them something that you're not done. I'm doing the calculation just so you know what I'm doing. Million times 0.05, that get you 5% if you want to know how to do it. It's 50,000, exactly what I said. So you losing 50,000 and me losing $5 might be a completely different situation. You might not like that, might be retirement, whatever else. So I just want you to know where I'm at, what I have on the table with my stuff, how far out I'm looking, and how far out you should be looking, and what it should take for you to be prepared, for what you're doing, how to objectively evaluate all that kind of stuff, right? Really important. Really, really important. Let's get to the next one. Okay, yeah, objectively qualified mentors, also partners and clients, right? Listen, if you're going to refer somebody to something, right? If you're going to tell your brother to do business with your friend, you need to objectively qualify that. It's not just send your brother over there. It's, hey, I've done business with him. These are my results. These are my returns. I liked it. I didn't like it. I feel like it's better now, whatever the case. You got to, objectively qualify that. You don't just want to, hey, I'm going to send somebody over there because I get a commission. Like, don't do that. Because if it doesn't work out right, your reputation is down the drain. Like, your trust, all the stuff is down the drain. And you did that for a quick buck. You did that, to get your pockets up, or whatever the situation is, to, get closer to somebody or whatever, and you jeopardize your brand, you jeopardize your future. Your name was on the line, your brand's name, your personal name, whatever the case, was on the line, and you fumbled the bag. You fumbled the opportunity just sitting somewhere, somebody somewhere. So just want to let you know, objectively qualify your partners as well, right? Internal partners with your business and partners that you're partnering with for referrals and things like that. Like, don't tie your name to something without making sure that it's legit, and have those qualifying, you know, steps in place, so you can make sure you're doing your due diligence to make sure it makes sense. And also with clients too, do not just accept money, like, just for it being money. Like, don't just say, hey, I'm selling this for 10,000, like 10,000, come buy it, yay. Like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. I tell you 1,000 times, don't do that, because what will happen is, let's say it just doesn't make sense. Like, this client has a headache, whatever, and you took the money and now you have to do your deliverables, but you didn't do your due diligence. You didn't make sure that it qualified, and it just made sense for work doing business with you, whatever the case. Make sure it makes sense to do business. The best way to do this, right? The best way to do this, I would say, is have a free program that you always filter through, whether it's a day program or whether it's a 90-day or longer program. So that the reason why you want to do this is that, so now they want to work with you. You have the little preview that they go through, and then they say no. If you're good at what you do, you're going to be able to say, listen, you went through the free program, you got that, and that's good for you. You got the free program. I'm glad that you got that. And they can always benefit off. They can always go back to it. They can show it to somebody. They're going to feel good from the beginning just because you helped them out. Just period. You just made sure that you were going to help them out. Free program, good to go. And yeah, like, that's what you want to do. That's how you want to approach it. Yes. So I wonder where I've been at. That's where I've been at. getting better, re-strategizing, getting into this whole investing thing, making sure that I'm good. I don't want to talk to somebody about something I'm not extremely confident with, but you know, I am good. I know that I'm good. I can estimate where I'm going to be off of past results and set my stuff up and make sure that it works and make sure that the companies and the brokerages that I work with they're solid. I don't want to tell anybody to do anything that I don't do personally and that I don't trust. And there's certain qualifications that I have and reasons why I do what I do that I can go over with people that I work with people I help for free, whatever the case. I just want to make sure that I'm solid. I love what I do. You're in the same position, and you're set up for success with whatever you do. But also, if you want to work with me or work with us, you're getting the same results. And yeah, you just number of positive things to look forward to. Everything's getting updated and redone. Website, everything that needs to get updated is going to be updated. But yeah, I just want to tell you to do that. So yeah, going forward, I don't believe that this would be the case anymore where I'm, taking this big chunk of time off. But if I am, I should be able to announce it and then take that time to improve because you can always improve. I just believe you improve better when you stop because you can objectively improve and say, this is exactly what I need to do and improve properly. So just in a position to get all that done. And yeah, just proud of myself to have done that. But I want to let the world know, get an update. And yeah, not stopping, not quitting. It's just had to take that time to do that. Really important. Don't want to be aimlessly doing anything. Been doing this stuff since at least this podcast, whatever, this part of it, this actually in front of the camera every time. Since the end of 2022, about to be close to we're on the back end of 2024. So that's enough time. Like a lot of goals I didn't hit and, hurt me a lot. And I'm just not into that. Like objectively, I'm here or I'm there. Period. Like I get you're in between, but if you are in between, you need to have how close are you then? And if you're not close as you want to be, stop the confusion because the years are going to keep going. You see, I just had a birthday. You see what happens? And then, right, because year starts, my son has a birthday, right? Then I have a birthday, right? My girl has a birthday. My daughter, everybody has a birthday, right? My mom, everybody, family, holidays, summer, holiday season, whatever. See what starts to happen? You start to be in a position where things aren't happening and you're leaning on the excuses because that's comforting to you. That the excuse feels good. It's always going to feel a little good to you because you've been through your process. But it's not going to feel good to your goal because your goal's sitting there looking at you like, well, come here. Like, let's hang out. Let's bond. Let's do our thing. And there you go with your excuse. You still over there with see, they're on two sides. You could be chilling with your goal or you could be chilling with your excuse. You know you want to be chilling with your goal, but the excuse is always there. Like, come here. It's always there to make you feel better. You got to, get rough, get in the trenches, do what you got to do to be able to get to your goal because the goal is what you want. So, long story short, because it can go really long. Stop what you're doing for a 30-day minimum. Go through the three things I talked about, right? And they are, just in case you just want some clarity with that, you're going to, in these 30 days, gain a clear vision of success. Next thing you're going to do is improve your skill level. And next thing you're going to do is objectively qualify mentors, partners, and clients, okay? Whatever you're going to do, minimum, right? It could take 6 months, a year, 2 years. It doesn't matter how long it takes. I just say minimum 30 days just so you can get to the point where air tastes different, okay? So make sure you make that happen. James Elite Love. Let's go. We're doing this. And yeah, we're just going to keep moving forward. And things going to get bigger, and better. Promise you that. But remember, if you need to stop, stop. There's no point in going the wrong way. Worst thing you can do, or one of the worst things you could do, is go the wrong way. Then you're going the right way. Give yourself a headache. Not good. James Elite Love. Let's go.